Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux and open source. And Vin, that's Jill. Everybody in chat talking about things in Twitch. I was talking about the Sonic games, the Sonic recompiles. Jill's talking about Scale coming up, a little bit of Disneyland. Fun things. Yeah. Catch us live, 3 p.m. right here on Twitch. There'll probably be a link somewhere around wherever the podcast is located. But it's time, I think, for the last Scale commercial of 2025.
Yeah. So yeah, Scale does start tomorrow, and I just been crazy busy as usual getting ready for it and making preparations for our Linux Chick-fil-A booth at the Southern California Linux Expo. Once again, the largest community-based convention, Linux convention here in the United States. And their website is SoCalLinuxExpo.org, and the dates are March 6th through 9th. Starting tomorrow at the Pasadena Convention Center in Pasadena, California. And make sure to come to the Linux Chick-fil-A booth and spin our Linux Chick-fil-A Wheel of Swag for a penguin surprise. And we're at booth number 218. And as well as we have some awesome computer hardware to give away in our raffles. So make sure to come for that. Good stuff, too. So use promo code CHIX, Chicks, on the first page of registration to get 50% off your Scale Pass. And you can go in person also and use that promo code. So make sure to use it, whether you register early or tomorrow. You can use CHIX and get 50% off your pass. And also, once again, Strider's Lutris booth is going to be next to the Linux Chick-fil-A booth. Woohoo! But this year, it is going to be a 3-in-1 Linux gaming booth featuring Lutris and Glorious Egg Rolls Umu Unified Launcher and Open Gamepad UI booth. And I'm excited because Atomic is coming back from our LGC community. And Sipes is coming back. So it's very, very, very exciting. And what's been nice in this last week, lots of people have told me last minute they're coming, and lots of businesses are coming last minute, which I'm very excited about because I thought we were going to have a little lower attendance. I don't think so now. So I'm happy about that. We're going to have over 100 booths in the
Good
expo
times.
hall.
Good times. Go check it out. SoCal Expo. You got a few minutes. You can show up at the door. You can give them money. They'll let you in. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
Don't worry about it. I got up to some interesting news this morning.
Oh, what's going on, Ben?
I thought I got a little bit of a time machine. I'm like, well, what's going on here? What's going on here? Oh, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Got up and I saw this. Who remembers Dick?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. That was,
Dick?
Yes.
Dick was around. It was a thing. It showed up. And this is a long time ago, kids. Long time ago. Way a long time ago. And got up. I saw a bit of an announcement. Dig was kind of like it was before Reddit, you know. You put some articles on there, people might dig them. They got voted up. You know, it came after Slashdot, before Reddit, and interesting times. And they kind of killed it with Dig 4.0 or whatever it was exactly.
Yeah.
I was checked out of the community by the time it imploded. And it went away. Kevin Rose, Alex Albright, and all these people.
Yeah.
Well, the bit of news this morning is Alexis Ohanian and Kevin Rose. So one of the founders of Reddit and the founder of Dig have gotten together and they're buying Dig back. They're going to try to stick it back together. Now, something I didn't know was a couple of months ago, there used to be a podcast. And the reason I know this podcast is because it was a video podcast almost 20 years ago now.
Oh, Diggnation.
Diggnation.
That was great.
They brought it back a couple of months ago.
Oh,
so Alex
cool,
and they're still sitting on a couch and they're doing the thing. I was like,
nice.
What? Because I saw this and what am I thinking? I'm like, I wonder if whatever happened. And I'm like, oh no, they've brought it back now. So they're getting ready to do all this.
Nice.
Maybe this is going to work out. It's interesting. It was fascinating, but it made me go, what did Dig look like? Oh, I don't know, 15 years ago. So I went and pulled it up. On this day, March 4th, coming into March 5th, in 2010. Look at the first top news that we got there.
Wow.
And Ubuntu gets a new logo and ditches brown.
Yeah. Woo.
This is what it used to look like, you know?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, dude, Red Dead Redemption delayed to May.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Man. Wild stuff, man. So, yeah, there you go. Digg's coming back. I don't know if it's going to be for good or for bad, but it's going to be a thing. And
awesome.
Who knows? I think it's very rare that the founders of these companies, you know, they do their sellout and things, and you don't get a chance to do take two. And they said they get a lot of runway for this. And, you know, what's the life cycle with social media or like Netflix or anything like that? When it's VC backed, it's going to be really good until they're told to make money. Then it's going to turn to poo. So I'm curious if we'll get a nice little stretch of like being able to have fun. Then it's going to turn to poo. Then the next thing will come out. I thought everybody would get a kick out of that. There'll be links to everything in the show notes. So you might have been paying attention last week and you heard something about Firefox and terms of service, and they were selling your data. That's because they are. They are.
Yeah.
Last week, Mozilla released a terms of use document for Firefox. A first for the open source browser. Like, hey man, this is what this is. The TOS included a non-exclusive royalty-free worldwide license for the purpose of doing as you request with the content you input in Firefox. So anything you feed Firefox is like, it's kind of ours. Then they removed the section of the Firefox facts that included a promise never to sell user data. Now you can imagine people were like, wait, what? That might be a problem there, man. So are you guys selling our data or not? Mozilla had to come back and clarify everything. They did. They said, the reason we've stepped away from making blanket claims is that we will never sell your data is because in some places, these horrible places, the legal definition of sell your data it's just broad and evolving. You see, the thing is, do a little bit of digging around, not a whole lot. Here in the States, California, Virginia, and Colorado have a laser-focused, crystal clear definition of what selling people's data is. And good on all those states here. Because Mozilla is going to be selling your data. That's why they had to clarify it.
Yeah.
They're like, but these states let everybody know that, yeah, ultimately we're selling. We're like, we don't know if we want to. Well, that's where we're at. So Mozilla doesn't sell data about you in the way that most people think about selling data, was their retort to this. They're still selling your data. Also, Mozilla, you probably don't want to talk down to your audience, the type of people who use Firefox. They ain't dumb. All right. Just come out and you could have saved all this and just been like, yeah, we're going to be selling your data. Quit trying to dance around it. Like you bought an advertising company. Everybody knows how this is going to eventually play out. But I do want to give a shout out to Libra Waterfox Wolf.
Yes. Those are great forks event.
Yeah, Libra Wolf, Waterfox, all the variants of Firefox that they're all forked with all of this crap removed, all the pockets, any data tracking, all the things that are on by default in Firefox that when you go to what I had, you got to go dig the page up. It's not like hidden, but it's in there and like send reports and stuff like that for usage statistics from Firefox. So yeah, maybe it's time to go check those out. Go check out Ladybird. We've talked about that on the show. That's making good progress.
Sure yeah.
And yeah, but I just wanted to clear that up. What happened? What went down? And what was your browser suggestion, Jill?
Yeah, so to Ven's Libra Water Wolf Fox, I said Florp Fire Dragon.
All right.
Because those are two browsers that I love to use that are forks of Libra Wolf and Water Fox.
But we got some good news on the Firefox front, though.
Yes, we sure. And speaking of Firefox, our favorite open source web browser has a new release with lots of big new features for us Linux users. Woohoo! So Firefox 136 is out, and it features official ARM64 Linux binaries, vertical tabs, and so much more. Yes, Arch64 ARM64 architecture is now officially supported, and the Linux binaries can be downloaded from the Mozilla Firefox website. And also, you can choose to use vertical tabs if you would rather not have tabs taking up, real estate in the top toolbar. So vertical tabs allow you to display tabs on either the left, which is the default, or the right side of the browser. And the vertical tab settings are available in the sidebar settings. So easy to find, easy to get to, and turn those on. And also, Firefox 136 is giving Linux even more love by including hardware video decoding for AMD GPUs. Woo! I've been waiting for that one. I had actually turned that on in the betas, and it had been working. So it's nice. It's now an official release. And for us podcasters and content creators like me and Ven, Firefox 136 has added support for simulcast with H.264 and the ability to send and receive AV1 streams for video projects using WebRTC. I thought this was fantastic. And I remember then it was quite a while ago when they hinted at that in one of the Firefox betas, and you were talking about it.
What was that? Oh, yeah, with the video encoding? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. Like, I'm using Firefox. I'm trying to use Firefox. I downloaded the Ladybird the other day just to kind of play around with it. But I also downloaded Firefox because of the ARM builds. I've been playing around that. And that might come as a shock to a lot of you if you get a Raspberry Pi or something that ends with Pi or Droid. You're like, wait a minute. I've had Firefox on these things for years. They just weren't official builds. Now it's an official build. You can go to the FTP site, download a Debian package. A little frustrating. There's a Debian package for the US language, not USGB or anything else. So
okay.
Just get the tar.gz and you'll be good to go. Pretty cool. I'm still going to be rocking with Firefox or like whatever fork we end up with. I imagine we're going to end up like some, I don't know. I want Firefox to I want Mozilla to get sorted. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't want bad stuff to happen to Mozilla, but it seems like they do. And like that frustrates me. So I'm glad everybody is still doing a great job on the Firefox browser project. But as it says in the title,
Aww.
we're going to pour one out. Microsoft is finally shutting down Skype.
Wow.
A little bit of an update too, though. I didn't see the update. What's our updated bit of information here?
That they officially did announce that you can export your data and export it also to Teams.
Okay, so this was confirmed. That's right, because this is on XDA, and these critters snuck around in the code, and they're like, look, starting in May, so Skype will no longer be available to continue your calls and chats. And I completely forgot about that. You used to be, I guess you probably still could, like, until this month, be able to get, like, call credits on Skype, because I remember using Skype to make international calls back in the day, because we had to use phones, and it was, like, super cheap to get international credits, and it was cheaper than I could do it on my mobile plan at the time. So this back in 2010, all the way back in 2010, I used it was this excellent native Linux video app, and it just happened to be called Skype. Microsoft hadn't bought it. It was great. It was native. It wasn't web-based. It was looked good, supported 16:9 video, had really good bitrate. You go back and look at some of the old Linux Gamecast.
Yeah.
They still hold up, man. I mean, it would do 720p. And in 2011, see, this is how things work around with my sphere of just challenges. The next year, Microsoft bought them. And the first thing they did, and we paid very close attention to this because we were using it for the show. A lot of people doing podcasts were as well. And we were just like, one of the 6 people on Linux using it for a Linux podcast. The first thing that happened was they broke the ability to do widescreen video.
Yeah,
Like,
I
that was
remember that then.
one.
Yeah.
Like, we went from having good 60x9, then
Yeah.
they did an update to the client, and the old client wouldn't work, and we were stuck with 4x3 video. Then we started experimenting, trying to figure out, hey, where can we go, and other technologies. And they eventually moved it to a desktop app. I think this was before like we had anything that even rhymed with Electron. They were trying to do, it was like this WebRTC based container. It was a hot mess. It didn't work. And it didn't work with like the audio echo cancellation because we're doing local mix minus and all the little fiddly bits that were in the original Linux client. And I think on the Windows version too, those were gone, couldn't access them, which was pretty rough. Just kind of dropped it. We moved on, did a couple of things over the years, and now I have a Jitsi server back in the rack that I run here, and works out great. Don't have to deal with this nonsense. But at the end of the day, you got about 60 days to remember that Skype still exists. Probably like a lot of people, the last time I thought about Skype was when I got an email like 5 or 6 years ago saying that my account may have been compromised because I had some data leak or something like that. And I'm like, oh, well, okay. And I didn't even bother with it. I'm like, have fun with it and knock yourself out. So yeah, it's been kind of amazing that Skype, it was just omnipresent, you know?
Yeah, it was everywhere.
It was just the thing you used.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to call you on Skype. Like it was I'm going to Skype. It didn't quite get to like verbiage. It didn't quite get to like Google, but like, yeah, I'm going to hit you up on Skype. And people knew what you're talking about. And that sound, that it like burnt into my head. And Microsoft just threw it away. So you're going to be moving, if you're still using Skype, you're going to be moving on Teams, which basically means for a large percentage of what remained in the Skype user base, you're just not going to be using Skype anymore because you're not on Teams and you don't plan on ever being on Teams for any particular reason. Jitsi. You can use Jitsi, jit.si, I think is it? Yeah, jit.si is the web zone. You can't use ours. You can roll your own if you want, but it's completely free to use. WebRTC, it's what we've been using for the shows. Relatively easy to set up and don't have to worry about ads and all that fun stuff if you're looking for an alternative. But you're probably already thinking Discord and like, yeah, Discord.
Yeah.
Most
Discord's,
of it.
Yeah.
They did a better job. Yeah, they did. And because Skype was getting funky and clunky, man. Like they were trying to shove like in like that web version, the desktop web version. It was Microsoft, you know, we were about that far from Skype showing up. You know, it's like, hey, it looks like you're trying to make a video call. Would you like them? And Discord just showed up at the right time, and they're like, click a button to connect, and you're done. And I'm like, oh, right. Oh, you want to do video? Yeah. Just click the camera button, and you're done. And I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, it was baffling how Microsoft just lost all that. They just Microsoft that right up, Jill.
Yeah. I remember when you guys tried to stay on the older version for a long time.
We did. We rode that thing into the grave, man. Like,
and I remember the first time I came on the Linux Gamecast after show when you interviewed me back in like 2015, I was using Skype. I remember that.
I mean, it worked. It was a bit of a kludge, but you could spool up like multiple instances of Skype. You could disable, you know, a auto gain. It had all the stuff that you could kind of manipulate it into working for that particular use case. Great product, great native Linux desktop app, and they just torched it. Like,
I know. And I was using it a lot on my HP touchpad. It worked great on the touchpad. The touchpad had really nice mics on it. And that's what I used to use to talk with our Linux chicks of Los Angeles for like a couple years.
Just got to pour one out.
Yeah.
Sad to see. And yeah, maybe, you know, I'd love it if they would go back and open source like whatever version it was before like they acquired it.
Yeah.
Just,
so cool.
Just to play around with it. Just kind of look at the internals right there. That would be interesting. Yeah, there we go. Last bit is, you know, we took a week off talking about buying empty laptops.
Yes, we did. So
Jill's like,
this is right.
We can't go another week without talking about empty laptops.
So yeah, 2 weeks ago on LWDW number 63, we talked about Elecrow's Crowview Note, which is a laptop with a 14-inch monitor that you could put a Raspberry Pi in or a single board computer of your choice. Well, this week, there's something interesting. Argon 40, makers of the Raspberry Pi accessories, including cases and power supplies, we have talked about many times here on LWDW and Ven has used, is making a laptop shell also. But this one is made for the Raspberry Pi Compute Module 5. Very interesting. This laptop is called the Upton One, and it is affectionately named after the CEO of Raspberry Pi, Eben Upton. And it is expected to hit Kickstarter soon and will be compatible with the 2 gig, 4 gig, or 8 gig variant of the Raspberry Pi CM5 modules. And Lily Puting states that the Upton One laptop features an M2 2020-80 slot for storage, an AI accelerator or other add-ons, HDMI and USB ports for data, power and video output, and several other connectors, including one that lets you attach a Raspberry Pi Compute Module 5. And according to the official Argon 40 Upton One promo video, it has a silvery colored stylized Upton One logo, at least 2 USB Type-C ports, 3 USB Type-A ports, a headphone jack, an HDMI port, micro SD card reader, of course, and webcam. And it features easy access to the Raspberry Pi Compute Module 5 by removing a few screws holding a panel on the bottom of the laptop. And we don't know yet when the Upton One will be released or how much it will cost, but I have a feeling it will be very reasonably priced since it's being made by one of our favorite Raspberry Pi case makers, Argon 40, which makes very reasonably priced Raspberry Pi 5 and Raspberry Pi accessories.
Oh, it better be reasonably priced for a whole different reason.
Yeah.
Whole different
yeah,
reason.
Whole different reason, yes.
That 14-inch screen's 1080p.
Yeah.
I was talking to Jill about that before we went live. Go listen to that in the pre-show if you're one of our patrons. It's got a 14-inch 1920 by 1200 display.
Yeah.
1080p looks rough on a 10-inch tablet. That's what I was talking about. You don't think it does? Like, I got tons of tablets, and I'm like, even on a 10-inch, when I get one of my older tablets, it's 1080p. Like, woof, that's kind of rough, but completely forgivable if this thing's like $200. Like $200, I'm like, all right, cool,
yeah.
Whatever. We start getting to like 300, 350. I'm like, no, you're going to have to dial that back down. Also, there's no mention of battery.
Yeah, I know.
Completely absent in all of the marketing, all of the Kickstarter video, all of the video. Like, what's a battery? What are you talking about? What? No, you just plug in the USB. We don't know. I don't know. I would like to see what that's going to be. Also, you're going to have to be bold, brave, maybe even beautiful to run a laptop with 2 or 4 gigs of RAM. Because ain't nobody going to be able to get a Compute Module 5 with 8. They don't exist. Don't pretend they do. I went looking before the show. Exhaustive search. A CM5 module with 8 gigs out of stock. Pre-order. It's the best you can do, Sue. You're going to get a 2 gig or a 4 gig.
I'll have to put Ubuntu on there or another lightweight distro.
I was a little bit excited when I saw this, and I'm like, okay, so they're thinking about making this, and I'm like, well, I guess the stock of like, okay, see, I learned some stuff too. I just assumed there was like a 16 gig version of the Compute Module. I was wrong, apparently. Yeah. Maybe there is. I didn't see one, but I saw some 2 gigs in stock. I found a couple of 4 gigs in stock. Not really scalped either. I guess nobody is like really looking for them, but all the 8 gigs are gone, man. They're gone. So apparently that's the one everybody wants, which is unfortunate. But again, if they can pull this off and they can get it at, like they're around the $200 and they say, hey, it's aluminum. It's not really cheap looking. Maybe. And if it's going to be compatible with like upgradable, because this is kind of the promise of the Compute Module, right? To be able to unplug, plug the new thing in. I like the sustainability aspect of that. The same reason I'm a big fan of like what Framework's done with their laptops, with the boards you can pop in and swap out. So I like the idea. I'd like to see a better screen on it. Maybe get one in hands. I don't know. I might hit them up, but like send me one. I might play around with it. Who knows? Interfacinglinux.com. I do that whole thing. So who knows?
Send one to Van.
Enough of you are over there watching that stuff, liking and commenting and subscribe, so I can go to these companies and go, hey, and they're like, oh yeah, sure, here you go. So it works out for everybody. Cool. That's going to wrap us up for this week. You like this show. We like doing it. You want to support it. You can just share the show. Tell your friends about it. Click like, click subscribe on our YouTube channel. That helps out more than anything else. But if you want, you can head over to Linux Gamecast. Oh, come play. We played a Oakland party in the after shows.
Yeah,
that
was fun to watch.
That was absolute chaos. Jordan, myself, Nubbin, and Mr. Alert joined in. Yeah. Absolute insanity. We like to try to find some like multiplayer co-op or like PvP games that are just new and have Linux native ports and just kind of show them off in the after shows, and we get them published. But we invite the audience to come in and play with us. And if you want to be part of that audience and, hop in our Discord and all that, easy enough to do. We got a support tab. Become one of our patrons. Patreon.com/Linux Gamecast, where you can get your name in lights. Well, pixel lights. They'll be at the end of every show. They'll be at the end of Linux Gamecast and LWDW. You get the pre-super shows and live and uncut versions of the show, video versions. There's just like a stack of stuff, including access to our super secret Discord. Which is not, it's not really secret, but it is a Discord, and it's a great place. I'm in a lot of Discords. I think it's hilarious that the Linux Gamecast Discord is by metric infant parsec decimals
most active.
Yeah. It's just, people just going at it, have a great time, and it's just great to see that community taking place. So there you go. Shameless self-promotion. But seriously, thanks everybody for making the show possible. I do want to thank a notification. Nubbin did a resub, 55 Nubbin. Months, and I think, if I get it wrong, was it TechMad as the latest patron? I think. I've been rushing this week. I've been trying to do this I got like 2 projects for Interfacing Linux that I'm working on.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It'd be cool when
but
you're
it's
done.
Hard to work on.
It'd be cool when I'm like, man, those are out. Go watch them. So, stay tuned for that. Thanks, everybody. Jill.
Aw.
Jill.
What then?
Aw. Yeah, you get me sad. Not with that
I'm
bouncy
excited.
Music.
Come see me at scale. And thank you to our advisors, our Theron, our executive producers, drummer, the Targos, Barbrandt Scott, Atomic, our Chicago Kicks Mules level, Glorious Egg Roll Basil, Empty Casiclism. Our Sea Monsters, System T, RL, Ryder, Monica, Machina, our Death Note and Martin, Renee, Leonardo, our Chairlings, Mir PPC, Martin, Rohit. I can't name all our beautiful patrons.
Yeah, you can.
But I gave it my best shot.
Listen, I can pause it and roll it back. I mean, I believe in you, Jill. I think you could name each and every one.
Yeah.
Thanks, beautiful people. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy it. Have some fun. Go play with some tech. Linux is cool and all that. You know it is. Yeah. That's why you're playing with it. That's why you're watching the show. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe there's some like Microsoft diehard who's like, I hate watch this show. And that's cool too. We can still hang out. See you next week.
Bye, everyone. Love you all.